It is Thursday, January 26th, 2017. Welcome to episode 4 of My Buddy Has a Podcast. No, wait, we're episode 5.
We are episode 5.
We already fucked it up. It's episode 5. We got podcast episodes fucked up because we had to re-record a couple.
I never know if I should edit this stuff out or not because I think it's like a little funny having a little bit of behind the scenes shit.
I think it's funny too, but like it starts to get bad when you get like audio interference and people are tapping the mics and throwing the mic across the room and screaming and shit.
As always, I'm Christian.
I'm Ike, and Chris got a PC recently.
Kind of.
Well, he got a Mac. And it's just like three-quarters of a PC.
3/4 of a PC.
Because you get like 3/4 of the game. No, you get like 1/3 of the games. You don't get old games on PCs. It's,
I don't
Max.
care.
You do care. No, you can't play Gothic, SWAT 3, Morrowind.
I think I actually can get Morrowind on Steam.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
On Max?
Yeah. I'm tempted.
I heard that one's way less streamlined than like 3 or 4.
Yeah, that would because I hear Oblivion is when people started to like criticize it for trying to be more like a console thing, you know?
I wouldn't know. I'm not really into super deep Western RPGs.
I love the Elder Scrolls. Well, Oblivion and Skyrim. Those are the only ones I played.
Because you're a baby. I'm a baby too. I can't get into Bethesda games besides, again, Doom.
You got into Fallout New Vegas.
I got into it for a while, but then like I kind of just forgot about it.
I understand.
And I mean, it's like
I was huge into Skyrim like a few weeks ago, and then I kind of died down from it after a few weeks.
Yeah, I think it's like that hype train that you have to be on it, or you have to start installing mods or whatever.
Yeah, because when Fallout 4 came out, I liked it, but I didn't like it enough to be crazy about it. My friend Dylan had close to 100 hours on it within like 2 weeks or so. And then he was like, how far are you? And I was like 3 hours.
I just got a pistol.
Yeah, since I got my laptop, I've been downloading some of the games Isaiah's been making me. Not making me,
Hey.
but been like, dude, you need to play this.
I just had a gun to his head for the past week, and I stuck him in a room until he bought 10 games.
I know, exactly. So I've been playing one that we've both been playing a lot, too. Broforce.
Like that, I think that was the first game that I actually bought for my PC.
I definitely think that's the first game you super duper hyped for me.
Broforce is this 2D side-scrolling shmup game, and it's super fucking dumb because it just takes a bunch of 80s action stars and pixelifies them, and you get to play as them, climb around blocks, and kill terrorists. It's fucking hilarious.
There's like no story to the game. It's
no,
just
there's like a slight story. It's
kind
like
of
Satan and terrorism, and it's real dumb.
Yeah, but whenever your commander tells you to do something, he's like,
and it's way gory and way stupid, and it's got really tight controls, I think.
I think it's got good controls, and every character you play as feels different. Whether some of them be ones I hate.
Like, I can't get behind... I like him, but I can't get behind McGrober.
McGrober.
The MacGyver one that throws bombs.
See, I always say I don't like him, but I always do really good with him.
Really?
Because you just make one of the terrorists grab a bomb, and then they run over to their friends, and all of them blow up.
That's hella stupid.
It also takes every 80s character that you play as and puts bro in their name. So Terminator will be Brominator.
The bride is the bro.
Rambo is Rambro.
My favorite is Brodator because he has these spears that you can just huck across the levels if you charge them up, and they just stick like 3 or 4 dudes to a wall, and it's like, yes!
Yes! I think my favorite might be Brode? I don't know. He's really cool. You know Blade.
Yeah.
I just love his sword, and whenever you attack, you see his face move, and he just has like these little cute pixelated fangs. I'm like, oh, you ain't scary.
You're so cute. Aw. Little chubby pixel boy.
It's really fun, though. I like that game.
And what else have you been playing?
I also got, and I think this might be my favorite out of the games I've gotten so far, I got Super Hot.
Hell yeah. I put like 20 hours in that game so far.
I've had it for like 3 or 4 days, and I've already got 2 or 3. Which, I mean, I guess doesn't sound like that much, but compared to the other games, it's a lot. It's really good, though. Basically, it's a first-person shooter that's really... I don't want to say because the graphics are really nice, but all of the enemies are kind of red pixel dudes, kind of.
It looks pretty, it's just got a different aesthetic.
Yeah, and then basically whenever you move, time moves. So you can see a bullet stop right in front of your face if you stop moving, and that allows you to plan out your attacks and stuff. So basically you have like 20 dudes coming at you, shooting you, and you just have to be really strategic of how you dodge all the bullets, but also kill them.
It's way fun. I caught mine on sale for like $16, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah, I think I got mine on sale, not through Steam, but through a different website for like 15.
Not even bad. I think I put that on my Game of the Year list.
I don't remember.
Is that like the revised list I did? I don't remember. I know I really love that game, and it was just like a huge highlight of 2016. And ever since Chris told me he got it back, I mean, he got his copy of Super Hot. I've just been coming back to it and playing the endless mode, and I've been having so much fun.
Yeah, it's super good. There's a lot of replay value, and like, I feel like every time you play a level, even if you play the same level over and over because you keep dying, there's always something new to do. It never feels like I'm doing the same shit in that game because there's so many paths you can take and so much shit you can do.
And there's so much new stuff you can try. Like, you can always try a new path and see if it works. Like, maybe you pick up this gun, shoot this guy in the face, throw the gun at the other guy across the room, switch into another guy's body, and then throw your weapon at a different guy. And it's just, you have so much room to experiment in that game. And there's no one right way to get through a level.
Yeah, no, there's probably 1,000. It's so fun when you punch a dude or throw something at a dude and they throw their gun at you and you pick up their gun in midair, then shoot them with it. And then the guy that was aiming at you with the other gun, you're like, oh,
what's up?
There's not just guns, you get like melee weapons like bats and stuff. And my favorite is the katana.
Oh, yes, the katana.
Because when you throw it, he throws it almost like a baseball, it looks like, but it goes straight forward like a spear. I don't think it's more effective than a gun, but it's so fun to watch. Just
so much
pierce through a
gun,
guy
though.
And then stay in the wall.
Like, there's not too many weapons. There's like a bunch of throwable items, a shotgun, pistol, and machine gun,
Yeah.
and then the sword. It's like, you don't have much to work with, but you can work with it.
There's so many things you can do with each one. I just noticed today too, if you jump while you're playing the game, you like slow down mid jump too.
Oh, that's super cool.
Which I've been meaning to try that one out. There's a story to the game too, which I really like, and it kind of freaks me out, the story.
Yeah, the story gets into your head, and it's really odd, and I love the ending, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far, so fuck you.
And, Chris, you got another Devolver game, right?
Yeah, I don't think Devolver can do wrong.
Like, Devolver, they put out, like, what? Hotline Miami 2, which it isn't good as Hotline Miami, but it's still great.
Oh, I've heard the opposite.
Oh, really?
I've heard Hotline Miami 2 is superior in like all levels.
I heard Hotline Miami 1 was a tighter game. I've only played Hotline Miami 1, though.
I want to get to. I have only played one as well, but they got that. They've got Downwell. They've got Broforce.
They got Mother Russia Bleeds, which was my favorite beat 'em up for a while.
I need that game too.
Get it while it's on sale right now. It's only $7.50 on Humble Bundle. The sale's probably going to be over by the time it's done.
Jeez.
It's still a great game. Normally it's like $15.
Yeah. They've always got sales on Steam and Humble Bundle and stuff. It's so great.
Like, now you know my temptation. You're like, Isaiah, why do you buy so many games? It's
Yeah.
like, because they're always on sale.
That's literally the case. When you first had your PC, I was like, damn, he's coming at me with like 3 different games every week. And now I'm like, wait, I've had my laptop for like a week and I've already got like 5.
It's tempting because there's so many good games that you like hear so much about. And it's like, well, I've only been able to play on my console, so I can't play these cool games. And now I can, and they're 50% off.
Jesus.
What else have you been playing, bro?
Yeah, I got Enter the Gungeon as well, which I do think is Devolver Digital too.
I think that is Devolver.
Yeah.
If I'm not incorrect, that's Devolver.
I just got it today, but I've played it before at my friend Dylan's house on just like co-op. I would use a remote and he'd use mouse and keyboard or something.
And Chris, explain to the folks at home what Enter the Gungeon is.
It's kind of like top-down style. Almost everything in the world is pixelated, and everything aside from you is themed as guns. I mean, bullets. So all the enemies look like bullets, and like, let's say a shotgun barrel comes at you, he like shoots a shotgun. It's really dumb, really cool, but
I've seen the animation is really, really smooth.
the animation's really smooth, the combat's really smooth, because basically it's just top-down shooter, but you roll around to dodge all the bullets, and if you roll into them, you basically dodge them, you know? And you can get new weapons, and there's different characters to play as that have different abilities. And it's really fucking hard. The bosses are really fucking hard, but it's really, really fun. There's this one boss where it's just 2 pistol shells coming at you, but they both have machine guns. And you have to get both of them at the same time, and they're just like shooting at least 100 bullets at a time at you.
Jesus.
Around the whole screen.
Oh, so it's like a bullet hell?
Yeah, it's like an orgy. for bullets.
I think if you like that one, you're going to really like, because it's basically like the same style, The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, that's one I've been meaning to get to.
I just wait for Afterbirth or Rebirth to go on sale because they're both really, really good. And those are expansions to the original that make them so much better.
Yeah, Bailey was telling me that The Binding of Isaac is one of those games that I need to get. He's like, I've sunk at least hundreds of hours into it because it's always changing.
Yeah, I know a friend that, like, he completed it 100% and he's a fucking madman for doing it. It's like, he's like, oh yeah, I'll just go in and play the hardest bosses on the hardest settings with the worst characters. And I'm like, do you love yourself? Or is that like...
Do you like torture? Yeah, I remember when you were playing it on your 3DS when you first got your 3DS. And you were crazy about it, but you were like, this game's fucking hard.
It's like, sometimes the game is just stacked against you. It's like, fuck you. Give me your lunch money, stupid. But it's still a terrifically fun game. I always love the random elements. Sometimes you'll walk in on a butt fuck, and other times you'll just walk in on, like, a really nice upgrade, and that'll carry you through the entire game. Like,
Woo!
the one that shows you where all the secrets are is hella broken.
It's hella nice.
Because you walk in and it's just like, here's a room filled with extra hearts, or here's a room with another upgrade in it, or extra bombs, or more keys.
And you're like, yes, please, every time. Jesus. I'm really tempted to rebuy Shovel Knight.
On Steam?
Yeah.
This is the third time you bought Shovel Knight.
Well, I bought it for myself on the DS, then my friend on the PlayStation. Now I want to buy it for myself again.
No, that's not another time. You bought it for your girlfriend on the Wii U.
Oh, I did.
Why do you keep... You're funding... You're putting people in Yacht Club's kids through for fucking college, dude.
Dude, they are so good. I want them to be through college. Make more games.
Oh, shit. Speaking of Yacht Club mini segment, they recently announced, a new pricing structure for Shovel Knight. So, if you want the game and all of its DLC, buy it quick because they're going to divvy the game up, which, that's completely fair because those are... Like, all the DLC are basically new games. But if you want the game and all the DLC... You gotta go out buy it now because they released, I think Spectre of Torment. No, not Spectre of Torment. That's a new one. Plague of Shadows last year, and Spectre of Torment's coming out later this year, and then they're gonna divvy it up and buy the 3 campaigns.
Yeah, which honestly, like, I almost don't think it's fair that on my DS I get all of the DLC for free just because, like you said, they are whole new games. I almost feel bad. It's like I'm taking their lunch money this time.
You got too much. You got too much good stuff.
And all of the new DLC is so fun, so difficult. Plague Knight is so hard.
He's got such different physics from Shovel Knight, and it's just crazy to play with somebody that doesn't have the exact same control. It's like they're still really tight controls and great levels. They're just way different.
Yeah, I would definitely say they're just as tight, if not more tight. It's really hard to play as him because it's so different. And the weapon upgrades are so different, too. You can have so many different combos with all of the upgrades.
I love fiddling around with those.
It's really fun. I would honestly put Shovel Knight as in my, like, top 5 games of all time.
Right?
Not gonna lie, it's so good.
Like, with Plague Knight, you can do different fuse lengths, so the bomb detonates at different times when it's not touching an enemy. It detonates differently, where it has, like, trail of fire that comes after it, or it just blows up regularly, or... this, that, and the other thing, and you can customize your specials. It's just a lot of good gameplay and a lot of good upgrades.
And then you can't help but mention the 2-player mode on the Wii U with the amiibo is so fucking fun.
Didn't you say it was super frustrating?
It was super frustrating because my girlfriend doesn't play many video games, especially like side-scrolling platforms. She's played like Mario 3, but this is, to me at least, definitely a step above Mario 3.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated.
And we just end up killing each other all the time. And she has the Infinidagger.
Infinidagger!
And she fucking annoys I'm like, babe, stop. She's dying with these heavy metal weapons, and I've got a fucking wooden spoon.
I've got a toothpick and 3 containers of, I don't know, ibuprofen.
And she's got fucking, I don't know, I'm gonna stop. I can't think of anything else.
She's got a banana and 2 rocks, and I've got none.
A banana and 2 rocks makes a dick shape.
I didn't even think of that. That was a Freudian slip, ladies and gentlemen.
What have you been playing, Isaiah?
I downloaded AVP 2010 because for some reason, I don't even know why, I just started watching a bunch of videos on aliens and predators and them fighting. So I was just like, why not get this one? It's super on sale. And then I bought it with all the DLC it came with, and it's alright.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt about it when I played it back in 2010.
Like, definitely the Predator is the most fun because the stealth.
Yeah, the Alien just seems kind of boring to me.
I haven't played the Alien yet, but I have played the Colonial Marine. It's way too fucking dark, and I don't have a shotgun yet, and those are the problems I have. But it's super early on.
yeah.
I might get, like, way better.
It's fun to just kill time, I think, but I don't think it's a game you want to like pour your heart into.
Yeah, it's not like a heart, soul, and valor sort of, I love this game, dig your knees down, I played it for 1,000,000 hours.
It's like this game's alright.
Yeah.
It's playable.
It's good enough.
My friend in middle school, I don't even remember his name. He was crazy about Aliens and Predators. And I used to love the Aliens versus Predator movie. I didn't like the second one though. I think it was like Requiem or
It was
something.
way too gory and gross.
It was gory and gross, but it was also like really dark and I couldn't see anything.
Yeah,
and,
that was another thing. Like, you can't see shit in that movie.
and I didn't know if it was because I was just like a little baby, but I tried like just revisiting a little bit of it on YouTube a while back and I was like, I can't see shit still.
It's been years.
And
I still can't see nothing.
I feel like the reviews on the first one aren't that great, but I really like that movie. It's
I
just
think-
like a fun little action movie.
You gotta either just stick to the Aliens or the Predators. It's a damn shame that, like, the AVP movies aren't very good.
Because you'd think they work so well together, and they kind of do.
They do in the comics.
I didn't even know there were comics.
Yeah, that's how it came about, man.
I'd be willing to try that game out again just for fun.
Yeah, I'll tell you how. I'll give you guys updates, but I don't think it's gonna go too well. I'm a little bit through the Marine campaign, and it's alright. You fight xenomorphs, and xenomorphs are fun to shoot.
Is it as bad as playing as a Marine in Aliens Colonial Marines?
You shut the fuck up with that sinful game.
Did we talk about how we played that game together?
No, we didn't. So we go to GameStop, right? And there's a boy. He's our favorite GameStop employee. We walk in, we see that it's like $5, and it's usually like $7 to $9. Like one time it like went up in price, which is super weird.
I think we walked into GameStop with our goal being, let's find a dumb game to play tonight.
And then we were like, we're gonna finish it. We're Colonial Marines. We slap it down on the counter. This guy's like, are you sure? Actually, we could have gotten a sweet 20 cents for that.
Playing it co-op with you, and I don't even think it's because we were pissing each other off. I wonder if it was like the screen size or something.
We had a pretty big screen going.
But
it wasn't
frustrated the whole time I was playing it.
I felt fucking nauseous.
I agree. I just felt like frustrated because I would load a whole clip into one alien and they wouldn't die.
My favorite thing in the whole wide world was me and Chris. We're like, we don't know about the hype. We both watch Angry Joe. He ranted about it, and it's like, okay, Angry Joe. Sometimes I don't agree with your opinions, but that's what makes a good reviewer. Let's try it out. Let's see if the hype is really what it is. So we plug it in. We play it co-op, and the first alien gets stuck in a wall. And we just shoot the poor fucker to death.
That was so sad. I was like, well, this is how it begins.
This is the rest of the game.
I was honestly kind of excited when like we first opened up the game. I was like, the atmosphere of the menu and stuff kind of looked nice to me. I was like, maybe people just had too high of expectations and it just wasn't good enough.
Dog shit.
But yeah, it's bad.
That game is dog shit. I try to play it alone with my girlfriend. It's not any better. I mean, I don't feel nauseous anymore, but it still pisses me off. It's still ugly. It's still stupid. The textures are still poor, even for, like, PS3 standards.
Yeah. Have you... Or I'm going to bring up another crappy game that we played.
God help us.
You remember Eat Lead?
Fuck you.
I don't even remember how that game came about.
I remember I found it for $1.99, and I was on this kick for, like, what if I can find super quality games for cheap?
Oh, I think it was after you got like Steel Diver or something like that on your DS.
No, it wasn't Steel Diver. It was that one John Woo game where it was, I forget exactly what it was called, but it's this like super cool cinematic game, and it's like it feels kind of like Max Payne where you can like dive and it goes into slow motion. It's super gory and stupid.
Is that the one where you throw the disc with the blades on it?
No, that's Darksiders.
No, Darksiders is the one that's like God of War ripoff.
There's a lot of games that just start with the word dark.
Yeah, I know that game though. I forget what you're talking. I don't remember the name.
Dark doo-doo. I don't know.
Dark Doo-Doo.
Dark doo-doo.
Sounds right.
Dark doo-doo head.
I remember you were playing Eat Lead, and like when you first begun it, you're like, "This game's kind of fun. This is cool." And then like 30 minutes later, you're like, "Oh my fucking god!"
It's so boring. It's like there's no feedback for when you shoot enemies, so it's like, you know those games that are super unsatisfying where you just like pump lead into something and it falls over?
That's kind of how I feel when I play Skyrim and I hit someone with a sword.
It's like you just like you hit him 2 in the 10 spot and he just like falls over, and it's not like he's like clutching his face or like falls into something or falls off something or like blood comes out or anything. It's just like boring and there's no feedback.
I remember all the enemies were hella easy too.
Mm-hmm.
Or the exact same. One of the two.
They all looked the same and they were all easy and it was stupid and I hated it and I wanted to shoot myself. So how about that Hotline Miami?
True. I've been playing Hotline Miami too. Well, the first one. So I've been playing Hotline Miami as well.
TOO.
I like the game a lot, but it's so fucking frustrating.
It is so frustrating because when Hotline Miami, it's another top-down game. It's super fucking gory, by the way, and you get killed in one hit.
You get killed in one hit, and the enemies are really unpredictable at times.
Yeah, because it's like they might see you, they might not, they might be in a room, they might not. It's not like something you can't. It's not completely unpredictable. You can still plan around it and fly by the seat of your pants to get that perfect combo, but it's still real fucking hard when they just like they hear you turn around instantly, put fucking lead in your head.
Yeah, sometimes they'll just hear you like take one step and they're like boom, and their reaction time is so on point.
It's way too good. Like, these are not humans, and this is why we're killing them, because they are not human.
Truth.
Fucking robots.
I really like that game. I like the gore because all it really is blood, sometimes body parts, but the rest of the areas look just like browns and stuff like that, and the blood is just neon red, bright as fuck, and it's
it, like,
so nice.
Blows off of those browns and the white tiles and stuff.
And let me tell you something, Hotline Miami has some of the best video game music I've heard.
Oh my! I need to download that because it's super good. Like, I don't know if I could call it vaporwave, but it's at least in the techno genre. It's just super. It's pumping. You can kill people to this music.
Talking about Doom too much, and also Overwatch.
So we're gonna cool it on that Overwatch update that nerfed Mei and buffed, I think, Sombra.
I'm almost tempted to start talking about Overwatch right now.
No. We're transitioning into what else I've been playing this week because we have a schedule up finally. I've also been playing 999. I'm almost done with that one. I have 2 endings to go.
999's that super... It was like a really rare game for you to find, right?
It's like rare out in the wild, but you can find it pretty easy online. Lexi, because she's the best girlfriend ever, bought me an actually new copy, like with the saran wrap still on it.
Oh, did it feel super satisfying to rip it off?
Hell yeah!
Like I notice with getting new products, whatever, anything, like let's say you get a new phone, you know how it comes with that plastic on the top, and you rip it off, and you're like, oh.
Baby, you look good with your wrapping off. But I've only had 2 levels left. What 999 is it's 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. And it's this super unique visual novel game where you and 8 other people are trapped on this boat. And this guy named Zero tells you, in 9 hours, this boat's going to sink. So you guys need to get to the number 9 door. You're like, well, how do we get to the number 9 door? You get the digital route, which is between 3 to 5 numbers all added up. And then if you get a number over 10, you add the 1s and the 10s placed together to get the digital root. So if it was like 1, 5, and 4, that'd be 9. The digital root of that would be 9. Wait, no, that'd be 10. So 1 plus 0 is 10.
I'm so lost. 1 plus 0 is 1.
Yeah, 1 plus 0 is 1, so you get to the number 1 door.
Okay. So you'd want to get like 81 or 18.
Yeah, if you wanted to get to 9.
Yeah, and you want to get to 9.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the only way out.
I've never played a visual novel game.
Visual novel games, for those who don't know, it's basically like you see anime characters talking because it's generally an Eastern genre, so you get that Eastern aesthetic. And you read it, and depending on what game you're playing, if you're playing Phoenix Wright, you're playing against word puzzles. In 999, it's logic puzzles. In the sequel, actually, it's more riddles.
Okay.
You're solving more riddles in Virtue's Last Reward. It's a 3-part series ending in Zero Time Dilemma. I've played 1 and 2, and I just got 3. And I really love... My favorite thing about it is, besides like the writing and translation, is the good use of sound. There's a great use of diegetic noise, which is noise that's actually happening, like the creaks of the ship, footfalls, and just that atmosphere it builds is so intense and creepy. It's really, really creepy, and it's engrossing because it's all you hear.
Is that like a choice-based game almost? Like, do you get to make choices and that affects your ending?
The main choices that you make are what doors you go into.
Okay.
So you get grouped with different people and you learn different things about those people. And there's a much deeper story beyond just there's 9 people and a crazy guy. Gotta get a way out. Gotta find a way out. And it's just a fantastic horror experience, I think. Like, even just the writing is fantastic, how they describe gore, because they never show people getting blown up. Like, you'll see... Oh, well, for context's sake, everybody, if you don't play by the rules, there's a bomb in your stomach, and it just blows. And it rips you open, and it's terrible, and a couple of times people blow up. And the way it describes it, it's like a flower, your intestines like coiled up like a flower, and it describes like pieces of fat floating in the blood like slugs. It's really graphic. It's very graphic.
That's something I can get behind, but I immediately had an image in my head that wasn't pleasant.
Exactly. It's really, really well written, I think, and the character dialogue is super endearing. You will find characters you do and don't like, because there's 7 more, including Junpei, which is the main character. But speaking of spooky Japanese horror, Chris, I recently got another part of my collection.
Your collection for?
Junji Ito manga!
Wasn't the first one you got... It wasn't Gyo, it was the other...
Gyo.
It was Gyo? Because I think that's the one we always saw in Barnes & Noble, and we were always like, ooh, that looks cool, but we were always like, ooh, it's expensive.
Yeah, like... They've been recently compiling Junji Ito's manga into these big, beautiful, black and white collections. So far they've got Gyo, which is 2 volumes, I think. Uzumaki is 4 volumes. And Tomi, the new one, is about 5.
So is it like 5 things in one of those thick books, or 5 of those thick books?
5 entire manga. 5 entire manga in 1 book.
Okay, cool. Because 5 of those huge books will be a lot.
So, I started out with Gyo, and Gyo and the Phantom Stench Freaks it's really good, I think, but it doesn't really have much character to it. Like, there aren't too many characters you relate to. They're very basic characters, just kind of reacting to things. And it's about these weird little metallic walker things attached to fish. And when the fish die, it goes to people. And it starts filling their bodies up with gas. And I'm not going to spoil anything else. It's just good body horror, but I think it's easily the weakest one because he has to explain so much, and I think Ito works better with a vague concept that he can kind of warp and twist around rather than something that's super set in stone. Like, you can definitely see that because it's only 2 volumes.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Like I said, I always really liked the art that I saw in it, but I never took the plunge.
His 2 biggest strengths, I think, are his art and his panel layout, because he does super detailed line work, and his panel layout is done in such a way where you sometimes have to turn the page to see a setup, and it'll come to, like, at the end of the page, you'll see their faces, like, twisted in horror, and then you have to turn the page and see what they're reacting to.
So it's almost like a pause in a movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually learning about stuff like that in my English class right now, but I've noticed that while reading comics just like Spider-Man too, they always, like, either they'll make the little white space in between the actual, like, pictures, if you want to call them pictures, they'll either make it, like, a little thicker, or, yeah, like you said, they'll make it so you have to flip the page to see something crazy.
Yeah, and he really... I'm going to talk about my favorite third, but Tomi was his first manga, and it's about this girl who... She can get anybody she wants bewitched with her, but they always end up murdering and tearing her apart, like, just violently.
That's a really crazy concept.
And it keeps getting crazier when you find out she comes back, and she's just... It doesn't really seem like she's fazed by it. And it is his first manga, and it's really interesting to see his progression as an artist and how he starts putting in more and more detail. And it also sets up his sort of thing where he takes it and he takes a bunch of different characters and he puts them in this scenario and he sees how they play off of each other. Especially with Tomi, because all you need as an element is the Tomi character.
Yeah. Does he do the writing and the art?
Yes, and
that's awesome.
Both are really good. I like the translation. There's nothing really clunky or goofy about it. And the art is, as always, up to an incredible caliber, especially towards the end. He starts putting in that crazy, disturbing line work that he's famous for.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite, personally, is... spoilers, if you want to read Tomi, go buy the hardcover collection. It's fan-fucking-tastic. It's about 700 pages, actually.
Holy shit.
I read through it in 2 days because I'm a huge Junji Ito fan. But my favorite one is you learn that people chop Tomi up, and she has like some weird curse or something about her where each individual piece regenerates into a new Tomi. So there's this traveling salesman, and he has this pitch to this small town, like, you guys are having a dwindling population. If you take this seed, and you plant it in the soil and water it every once in a while, it'll sprout into a beautiful teenage girl, fully formed. And they're just like, fuck off, that's crazy. And until somebody actually buys one to see what it is, and it's a chunk of flesh. So they run him out of town, and they force him to throw all of his product into the river, the waterfall.
Oh, shit.
And so people start ending up, like, throwing themselves into the water and coming out, like, chewed up. So there's these fishermen in the water later on, and they're just fishing, and they see Tomi's head bob up, and they're like, holy crap, there's somebody in the water, and the one guy goes after him. And so he waits a few minutes, and he's like, this is bad, I need to jump in after my boy. And he swims down, and he just sees all these Tomis growing out of the rocks, tearing his friend apart and eating him.
Holy shit.
And then there's just another one, and she's just like, hey, you want to cuddle, sweetheart? And she's like, her entire lower half is just twisted around these rocks, and all she's doing is grasping with her upper body. That one is my favorite story of the bunch. There's a lot more like that, but it starts to get formulaic of just they're boys, and they fall for Tomi, and they try to murder her. It really gets formulaic.
That's really cool. I like that.
But it's really disgusting, disturbed body horror.
You just like the super duper gory shit, I've noticed.
It's not...
Super gory, but good story.
Yeah.
Ooh, good
gory,
rhyming.
Good story. Anyway. But that's the kind of stuff I think I like it so much because it genuinely scares me.
Yeah?
Like, the ones... Like, I noticed that I first had a fear of body horror when I was watching, I think, District 9. And that's the one where he, like, becomes an alien hybrid. And he starts pulling off his fingernails. And that really got to me for some reason because it was like... I was 8 or 9. I was walking outside to go get groceries with my sister, and she opened up the door, and it caught my toenail and bent it up at a 90-degree angle. And for, like, the rest of my life, I was repulsed, but fascinated by it and, like, fiction, that sort of thing. And, like, my mom had to put some cream under it and bend it back down, and that was traumatic.
Oh, no. I remember that happened to me with my thumb when I slammed my thumb in the car door. It was just getting a lot of pressure, so they had to drill holes through the thumbnail so it could relieve pressure.
Oh, dude.
And then the nail, like, slowly just fell off, and it makes me want the underneath the nail is disgusting looking. Like,
yeah, it's raw and... Like,
it's raw, and, like, I had a huge-ass blood blister, too. I would walk around with my friends and be like, hey, look at my sexy thumb. And they'd be like, fuck you. Go away. Look, some alien-ass E.T. fucking thumbnail shit. It was gross.
And, like, I think when I start thinking about things that I fear, I think my biggest fear is... Like, I know I'm, like, almost 20, but I still have a good fear of the dark.
I can agree.
Like, the dark always gets me because, I don't know. There's something about it, and there's something I've never been able to shake.
I agree. It depends on the situation, though. Like, if it's in the dark, if I'm in the dark in my room, I'm normally fine. If I'm in the dark walking down, like, the hallway of my house, it depends on the day. If I'm in the dark outside, no.
I can't do that, especially, like, around the woods.
I don't know if it's, like, my eyes, since I can't see as much, I focus more on, like, hearing, and I can hear more, but I just feel like I hear a bunch of random shit. I can't do it.
Yeah, it makes you jump. It makes you spooked.
There was a point in time when I first started working and I had my car. I would drive home and I'd be like, I really don't want to leave the car. And I would just fucking sprint to my front door from my car like, no.
It's going to get me.
I don't like the dark either, man.
Even if it's like, not even like, it's starting to get towards evening and I turn off the bathroom lights, but I'm not out of the bathroom. I start to feel a little bit of, like, that primal, like, get out of there, it's dark, you can't see, something's gonna get you.
Yeah, like, you kind of have this feeling where you're like, I'm fine, but then once you think I'm fine, your brain's like, what if you're not? And then you get chills and you're like, okay, I'm gonna start running. Like, do you do that sometimes where you just go from, like, a casual walk to, okay, I'm sprinting?
I don't know about sprinting, but I definitely like pick up my pace.
Yeah, I especially when I'm like walking up the stairs or something in my house.
Oh, and I didn't tell you about this. It was pretty spooky. I wanted to spend the night with my girlfriend because the semester started on Monday and it was Sunday. And do you remember that we had like a pretty big snowstorm?
Yeah, yeah, because I think the next day got canceled, right?
Yeah, like well, the next day didn't get canceled. It got
Oh, it
canceled
got-
for like the high schools and
Yeah.
stuff. But for the college, it was just a 2 hour delay. I missed
Yeah.
my first class,
Same.
and so my girlfriend was just like, "Dude, I can't get up your hill. I can't. There's no way." And so I was just like, "Okay, fine. I'll just walk to the school." And she was like, "Really, dude?"
To the high school?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I walked from my house to the high school, and it was really creepy because, like, in the dark, when it's a certain level of brightness, like the snow, it looks featureless, so I don't know when it drops off or anything.
Oh, yeah.
And we stopped a couple of times. Like, I got to the school just fine. I even saw a barn owl. That was pretty cool.
And I'm assuming you took like some of the paths that we used to take when we walked around, right? Like you didn't stick to the main roads, did you?
I didn't stick to the main roads.
No.
I took that one really high slope up by the church.
Oh, yeah.
And I kept thinking to myself, it's like, if I were to fall and lose consciousness or something, I'm probably going to die.
It's also really spooky because I've started to see more coyotes and stuff around lately.
Oh, yeah.
Especially just like running around the road sometimes. I'm like, okay. The thing is, I'm always fine walking around in the dark if I have like a friend with me. Like me and my friend Dylan always walk around late at night. We used to walk around from like when I used to live in this crappy town called Cold Springs, we would walk in the middle of the night. It'd be like 10 o'clock and we'd walk down to 7-Eleven and walk back. And it was normally like an hour and a half walk there and back. We just wanted to like get some 2 liters and shit. And it was always fine, but if I ever walked by myself, like I would walk by myself to his house and on my phone all the way on, or I was sprinting. Like some of my favorite videos on YouTube are from this guy called Top Fives, and he does videos like Top 5 Strangest Voice Recordings or Unexplained Pictures. They just have a bunch of creepy videos like that where they'll just talk about these stories that you can find on the internet and things, and anything doing with ghosts like that seem slightly believable freaks me out so much, you know?
Yeah, like every once in a while I'll just go on like a binge where I watch a bunch of ghost stuff, and it in the moment it doesn't freak me out, but then I like turn off the videos and it's just like it kind of hits you.
Yeah. You know what's really freaked me out lately to think about?
What?
The like deep and dark web.
Oh my god, like
That shit's
that is
freaked me out. Have you
yeah, because that stuff like really hit the mainstream recently when people were like starting to talk about it,
Yeah, and it's 100% real.
and that's what's really scary about it.
I don't know if you've heard of this game, The Red Room.
Oh, I saw I think I saw Markiplier play
I
it.
just watched Markiplier play it like over the last 2 or 3 days. Basically, he's on a computer. He's trying to find these codes so he can get into the deep web and watch a red room, which is watching someone torture another person. And while he's doing this, he needs to block hacking and stuff like that, but also make sure that people aren't trying to kidnap him, apparently, because apparently while you're doing this stuff, people can see your location and see your camera and stuff and just try and abduct you and stuff. And he'd be playing it and he wouldn't notice the sounds or anything, or he'd like, if he noticed someone was tracking him, he'd turn off the lights so they couldn't see his camera and stuff, and his computer would shut down. And you just hear these voices speaking in Russian, like talking. And I think I read the translation. They were saying like, "Is anyone here?" Blah blah blah, and like, or you'd see a footstep try to get into the window or something, and that shit freaks me out,
Oh,
dude.
God.
Like, the main jump scare type thing in the game is like the guy will just basically have you turn around and you look at him and he'll say something and then grab you, and I'm like, nope, done. The thought of being kidnapped like that freaks me the fuck out too.
So a quick explanation of the deep and the dark web. So there's I think there's at least 3 layers of the internet. There's the surface web, which is accessible to anybody. That's your Facebooks, your YouTubes, your
Google.
forums, Google. Then there's the deep web. The deep web is inaccessible except to certain servers.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like people like the FBI will use it or something like that just to get information or like watch things, like surveillance type things, I'm pretty sure, right?
I think so. I haven't read too much about the deep web, and this is what comprises most of the data that's on the internet. There's
Yeah.
like I think the surface web contains about 1 to 2% of the actual
Yeah,
data
it's
on the internet,
very small.
and then below that is the dark web. And the dark web and the deep web are accessible through things called Tor, which are multi-layered browsers which hide your identity, hide your location, stuff like that. But the deep web is one thing. The dark web is where you find those stories of Silk Road was this massive online drug dealing thing.
Oh yeah.
And you'll find red rooms, and red rooms are where you can, it's like a Twitch stream for watching somebody get tortured and murdered. And there's child pornography on the dark web. There's snuff videos, murder, gore, just the worst sort of things.
It's just super scary to think about, to think that it's like real. And honestly, if you've got the determination, I feel like anyone can probably access it.
And the scariest thing is it's like you hear about people in all over the world that are like kidnapping people, and it's terrifying to think that that might happen to somebody. And it's terrifying to think that it's happening in the United States. Mm-hmm. And all over the world. It's just these really sketchy, creepy things that are happening, just prostitution and murder and just really dark stuff.
Yeah, I think the things that freak me out the most lately are those little ghost things, or thinking about like the dark web. That shit's freaky as hell.
And then you start hearing those stories about people from the dark web just like nearly instantaneously hacking somebody, getting access to their computer and knowing their private information, their addresses and stuff like that.
I think I read that on the dark web you can like purchase people's passports and all this other like really deep personal information, and it's super scary. Like I didn't realize how important privacy and protection is until I started reading about that stuff.
Yeah, the dark web will put the fear in you, dude.
Like now I understand. Sometimes I walk into a cafe and I'll see people with a laptop and they'll have like black tape over the face cam. And I'm like, oh, that's dumb. And then I started hearing about this and I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense.
So, ladies and gentlemen at home, I would advise you, if you do have a laptop or just a webcam in general, cover that up, put a sticky note on it, make sure people aren't seeing your face, because they can and they will. Like, this isn't fear-mongering, this is being realistic. And I don't want any of our lovely viewers to get hurt.
I'm just saying, if you want to get spooked, watch some YouTube videos about the dark web.
Or ghosts or anything like that. Is there anything else you want to share? Any other stories, Chris?
I don't really have any other spooky stories like that. Well, this one's more of like a goofy type thing.
Uh-huh.
But I remember when I was like 6 or 5, somewhere around there, my little brother was about 2. And I remember I had this dream where my mom and my dad were in the front seats. Then me and my brother were in the back seats. And I look over at him and he's just like sweating a little. And I'm like, hey, are you okay? And all of a sudden his head, like his forehead, started to enlarge and get bigger. Kind of like, it almost like looked like Jimmy Neutron's forehead, but like veiny. And then all of a sudden it started to crack a little bit and like a chunk of his like skull popped out. And I saw his brain and it was like green and glowing. And then all of a sudden his fucking fingers turned into really pointy, sharp like drills, like screwdriver drills almost. And he was like, he looked like a doctor, almost like a mad evil scientist type thing. And he had like drills for teeth too that would spin and stuff. And like I sprinted out of the car, and so did my parents, and we were like running from him. And it was one of those dreams, I don't know if you've had them, where like sometimes I have these dreams where I'm just running. I don't know what I'm running from. I know I'm scared of something, but I'm just running. And I start to run and I trip, and then I start to run and I trip, and I start to run and I trip. And it happens over and over. It's like a reoccurring dream for me. And that's what happened. It was super duper spooky. And it just cut off with me running. But I think that's like the one nightmare like I can seriously remember.
I remember, if you guys, this is another one of those popular internet spooky story topics. One time I had an argument with my girlfriend, and I went to sleep upset, and I don't know if this contributed to it, I was in Ohio, which is far away from where I live now. That's my home state. This is my living state. And so there's just a lot of stress. And it was one of the most terrifying moments of my life. I don't have too many, but this is one of them. I experienced sleep paralysis.
Oh my god. No. Nope.
So sleep paralysis, if you don't know what it is your brain is still it's got your body tranquilized because it releases those chemicals to make sure you're not moving around and falling all over yourself. And your brain is still in a kind of surface, like stage 1 or stage 2 level of sleep. So you have your eyes open and you're aware, but you can't move and you hallucinate. So what I was seeing was my night vision had started to adapt, but there was still like, I think my hallucination was like there was some sort of like fog in the edges of my vision, and I couldn't hear anything. And I just knew on the corners of my big bed that I had set up for me that there was something. I don't know what. And it had designs on me that I couldn't know about or didn't know about. And it was just waiting for me on some side of my bed to just get me.
Just like waiting for you to get up or something.
It was real. Like if you've ever experienced sleep paralysis, you're probably in agreement that it's one of the scarier things that can happen to you because you feel so vulnerable and bad.
Yeah, sleep paralysis is something that I'm really scared to experience if I ever do. I do want to experience a lucid dream. That'd be cool. That's
Dude,
the one where you like
lucid dreams and they were both fucked up, so I stopped doing that.
That's one of those dreams where you can take control.
To an extent.
Yeah, to an extent.
I was in the early stages because I also wanted to lucid dream. You start out with you get a notebook and it's your dream notebook. And every time you wake up from a dream, you write it down so you can remember your dreams better. And those are the opening steps. So I had my dream journal going and I was doing it for about 2 or 3 weeks. And so I have this dream where it was bizarre because it was like one of my favorite YouTubers, Philip DeFranco, was like talking, and there was like these things in the back. And I was like, that's odd. And then like Phil looked scared and he looked at them, and then my perspective changed to them. And there were like these big pussy things in business suits, and their heads were like bubbles with little like fetus looking things in them, and they had pustules growing off of them that were popping. And then that dream cut, and then it went to another dream where I was like this black lady, like that was in the perspective I was, and I was in this submarine that went through lava, and I got out and I stepped out, but I wasn't wearing shoes. So my feet were like scalding and melting into the metal. And then like I fell and my hands like hit the metal too, and they started burning and like oozing through the grate. And I woke up and I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to lucid dream, because if I'm completely aware of that kind of shit, I hate to imagine anything else.
I think that body horror is getting to you.
This was way before I was actually interested in like actively pursuing and reading body horror. We have any more topics, Chris?
No, I don't think so. We're hitting that hour mark.
Damn. So anyway, I hope you guys had a good spooky time in the middle of this, a nice distraction from what's going on in the world right now. And I've been Ike.
And I'm Christian.
And did you know your buddy has a podcast?